When it comes to the UFC, the fighters of the brand are nothing if not passionate. Yeah, let's just go with that word, shall we? They're passionate because each of them, regardless of whether they're male or female, are seeking their opportunity to go and make their claim to the world of mixed martial arts. And many of them want the biggest fights with the biggest rewards, especially if that means getting a title shot. And of course, that means that a lot of banter is going to happen between various fighters as they jaw-jack for superiority. So allow us to show you how Tony Ferguson calls out Chimaev. Calling out. Tony Ferguson has taken aim at Khamzat Chimaev after the Chechen Wolf claimed that he represents the USA. El Cucuy drew parallels between Chimaev and the latter's fellow Russian Khabib Nurmagomedov. Ferguson highlighted Khabib Nurmagomedov's past issues with weight cuts and asserted that Khamzat Chimaev, too, can't make weight. Khamzat recently took to Twitter to call out Colby Covington. Chimaev jibbed at Chaos, who's known to proudly represent the United States of America. Boers joked that he, not Covington, represents the USA. Chimaev stated, "You do not represent USA, I represent USA, you represent cowardice." Tony Ferguson, who's time and again represented his Mexican-American heritage on the global MMA stage, inserted himself into the Chimaev-Covington feud. Ferguson tweeted, "The fuck you do, you can't even make weight like fathead at Team Khabib. Sit down, shut up before I make you my bitch. Where were you during the start of the pandemic? Hashtag America MF CSO. Nurmagomedov missed weight once in his MMA career, weighing in at 158.5 pounds ahead of his UFC 160 lightweight bout versus Abel Trujillo. During his time as a professional MMA fighter, the Eagle competed in the lightweight and welterweight divisions. Khamzat Chimaev hasn't missed weight in his MMA career. Chimaev has competed at welterweight and middleweight over the course of his professional MMA journey. The consensus is Tony Ferguson is alluding to Khamzat Chimaev's weigh-in before his most recent fight. Chimaev beat Li Jingliang via first-round submission at UFC 267 in October of this year. And although Khamzat Chimaev weighed in under the 171-pound non-title bout welterweight limit for the fight, he was accused of leaning on the towel held in front of him to weigh lighter on the scales. Chimaev subsequently denied those allegations. Tales of the tape. While the dream matchup between Tony Ferguson and the now retired Khabib Nurmagomedov fell apart on 5 separate occasions, their rivalry remains as intense as ever. Ferguson has consistently maintained he's open to fight Nurmagomedov. Meanwhile, the Russian fighter has emphasized he doesn't intend to compete in MMA again. El Cucuy hopes to regain winning form and recover from his recent 3-fight losing streak. Conversely, the undefeated Khamzat Chimaev has his sights set on UFC gold. Many believe Chimaev is one win from a UFC welterweight title shot. Now, whether that'll happen or not, though, is only something that can be determined in the octagon. Sean O'Malley's claim. Like it or not, UFC bantamweight Sean O'Malley is on the short list of potential stars in mixed martial arts. And for the record, there are plenty out there who do not like it. O'Malley, who is 14-1, has been a polarizing figure since he signed with the UFC off of Dana White's Contender Series in 2017. He is 6-1 inside the octagon, including 4 finishes, but he has taken some criticism regarding the level of his competition. O'Malley, who's 27, has never beaten anyone ranked inside the UFC's top 15. O'Malley, who faces Raulian Paiva at the UFC 269 on Saturday, has responded to any remarks about a padded record by trolling his critics. He recently released merchandise that dubbed him the unranked champ. He's also dropped merchandise in the past that boasts of his undefeated record, as he feels a freak injury was behind his only loss, a first-round TKO by Marlon Vera in August of 2020 after a kick numbed O'Malley's lower leg and rendered him defenseless. Heading into his 8th UFC appearance, O'Malley spoke to ESPN about the meaning behind unranked champ and the pressure of superstar expectations and this weekend's fight. The UFC rankings have always been something not super important to me, so the merchandise says unranked champ 15 because this is my 15th fight, and I'm about to be 15-0. That fight against Vera, I don't feel like I lost because his skills were better. I don't think he truly thinks he won the fight either the way it played out. It was so rare. Look at how many times I've been kicked in other fights. You don't see my whole leg go numb the way it did against him. Mentally, I don't feel that I lost. If Vera goes out in a rematch and beats me in a decision or finishes me fair and square, I'll have no issue saying I lost. I lose in sparring, I lose in grappling, I'm not worried about losing. I just don't feel like I lost that fight, and a lot of people hate that I say that. Jon Jones' new team and legal issues. Now, despite Jon Jones' current legal troubles, along with a public exit from his former longtime team, renowned striking coach Eddie Cha is happy to have the former UFC light heavyweight champion aboard at Phoenix's Fight Ready gym. Following his induction into the UFC Hall of Fame for his memorable battle against Alexander Gustafsson at UFC 165, Jones was arrested on charges of battery, domestic violence, and injuring and tampering with a vehicle in Las Vegas. In addition, Jackson Wink co-founder and coach Mike Winkeljohn appeared on the MMA Hour in October and revealed that Jones was suspended from entering the facility. Since then, Jones has been seen training at Fight Ready with the likes of fellow former UFC champion Henry Cejudo. Cha spoke with MMA Fighting on Monday to provide details on how Jones was brought into the fold. Henry gave me a call and told me that Jon reached out to him and was interested in coming out, Cha told MMA Fighting. We kind of prepared some things to work on and we're super excited to have him here. Everything that we decide is done as a team. It starts with our owner, David Zoe. He calls each and every one of us and asks us if we want a certain individual here, and we'll say yes or no and give our reasons why, then go from there. For me, it was a no-brainer. I think that people make mistakes, whether they make 1, 2, or 3. Jon's just under a microscope. Whenever he does anything wrong, it's magnified. But if you know him as an individual, and I don't know him as well as other people, but I've heard from other people doing my research, Greg Jackson has never had a problem with him. Brandon Gibson has never had a problem with him as an individual. I don't think anyone agrees with the mistakes he's made, but at the same time, we all make mistakes. I was super happy to work with him and judge him as an individual. I was saying let's not judge him until we get to know him first, and I was super impressed, as a human being and as an athlete. Now, Jones was initially scheduled to appear in Las Vegas court this past weekend. However, prosecutors were granted additional time to file the criminal complaint against the 34-year-old, and the hearing was postponed until January 31st, 2022. With everything still up in the air in regards to the allegations against Jones, Cha says there was little to no hesitation to bring Jones in. For me, no, Cha said. I don't think that we're able to change anybody unless somebody is willing to change. He's come back and forth a few times already, and the dude's a class act to me. I have zero problems with him, and I'm excited to work with him. It's been nearly 2 years since Bones last competed inside the octagon, a unanimous decision win over Dominic Reyes in his final light heavyweight title defense at UFC 247 in February 2020. He has since vacated his title in lieu of a move to the heavyweight division. And according to Cha, since Jones began spending time at the Arizona gym, he's been a great presence for the community, as well as the high-level fighters that he shares the mats with. Obviously, word got out that he was coming in, and there would be tons of people coming in wanting pictures and autographs, Cha explained. Even when we're working out, you'd see little 5-year-old kids with their parents with stuff waiting for him to sign. During workouts, he'd look over. "How you doing, little man? Is this your son, sir? How are you doing? Can I come over and say hi?" He'll literally take the time. Any kid that he sees, he's gonna take the time to say hi, take pictures, whatever they want. There was like 9, 10 fans outside when we were working on a Saturday, same thing. He goes out, takes pictures, says hi. To me, you can kind of tell about an individual with how they act around kids. I think that makes a big difference. So, what do you think? What do you think of this look at Tony Ferguson and how he has called out Chimaev? Do you think that a fight will eventually happen between these two? Or do you think they're going to be fighting other people before they even get close to one another? And what of this other UFC news? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time on the channel.